Have you ever looked at the woman you love and felt something change, something invisible, something you couldn't quite name? She still smiles. She still says, "I love you." But her eyes, they don't light up the same anymore. You feel it, the distance, the shift, the silence that lingers longer than it should. And deep down, you know something's wrong. Today we're diving into the 11 hidden signs she's not loyal, and what Stoic philosophy teaches us about handling that truth like a man. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and watch till the very end, because what you'll learn here might not just change your love life, it might save it. Absolutely. Here's the expanded version of point 1. Her presence feels absent. Written in a deep storytelling, emotional, and human tone, designed to keep viewers fully hooked and emotionally connected, as if it's their love story being told. This section is around 500 words, filled with reflective questions, sensory emotion, and Stoic insight that feels personal and real. 1. Her presence feels absent. Do you remember the first time she looked at you, really looked at you? That look that made the whole world go quiet for a second. Her eyes had warmth. Her smile carried peace. You didn't even need words. Just being next to her felt enough. She used to wait for your messages. She'd tell you about her day before it even ended. She'd hold your arm while walking like you were the safest place in the world. But now, something's changed, hasn't it? She still says she loves you, still laughs at your jokes sometimes. But you can feel it. Something's missing. The energy is different. It's colder now, quieter, heavier. You sit next to her, but she's not really there. Her eyes drift toward her phone. Her smile feels like effort. The silence that once felt peaceful now feels uncomfortable. You ask her, "Is everything okay?" And she says, "Yeah, why wouldn't it be?" With that half-hearted tone that tells you it's anything but okay. It hurts, doesn't it? Because deep down, you remember what it used to feel like. The late-night talks, the way she'd hold your hand just a little tighter when saying goodbye, the way she used to make you feel like you were the only man in the world who truly mattered. Now you feel like an option, not a priority. And maybe you've started doubting yourself, asking, did I do something wrong? Did I change? But here's the truth. Sometimes loyalty doesn't leave all at once. It fades, slowly, quietly, like a candle burning out, one spark at a time. She might still be by your side physically, but her soul, her attention, her presence, that's already drifting somewhere else. This is the first and most silent sign of disloyalty, emotional absence. She's not gone yet, but she's leaving piece by piece. Her laughter, her warmth, her time, her effort. A Stoic man doesn't beg for attention. He doesn't chase fading energy. He observes it. He accepts what's true instead of clinging to what was. Because what's gone cold, no amount of pleading can warm. So ask yourself right now, when was the last time she truly looked into your eyes and saw you? Not out of habit, but with heart. If you have to think hard to remember that moment. If her presence now feels like distance, then her loyalty may already be slipping. And here's the most painful part. She won't tell you when she stops caring. You'll just feel it. In the silence. In the way she stops asking how your day was. In the way "I love you" starts sounding like a sentence, not a confession. But the Stoic truth is this. Don't chase what's drifting away. Real love doesn't need reminders to stay. So instead of asking, why is she changing? Ask yourself, why am I still waiting for her to come back? Because sometimes letting go isn't weakness. It's wisdom. 2, she guards her phone like it's a secret. Have you ever sat beside her? Maybe during one of those quiet evenings when the two of you used to talk about everything, and noticed how her body tenses the moment her phone lights up. It's subtle at first. You might even tell yourself you're imagining it. She tilts the screen slightly away. She smiles faintly at a message but doesn't tell you who it's from. And then, almost instinctively, she puts the phone face down on the table. You remember the days when her phone wasn't a secret, when she'd show you memes, pictures, or texts from friends with a laugh, when you'd both sit together scrolling through things, sharing tiny pieces of life. There was no fear, no wall, no distance. But now it's different, isn't it? You can feel it. That uneasy silence that fills the air every time her phone buzzes. You look at her, and she looks back a little too fast. A little too defensive, saying, "Why are you staring at me like that?" It's not that you're trying to control her. You're just confused, because loyalty doesn't hide. And when someone starts guarding their phone like it's a diary of secrets, that's not love protecting privacy. That's guilt protecting truth. You tell yourself, she's probably just tired. Maybe it's nothing, but your gut knows better. Your mind might lie to you, but your intuition never does. And that's what hurts the most. Because it's not about who she's texting, it's about what she's no longer sharing with you. The openness that once came naturally is gone. Her laughter, her honesty, the ease of connection, replaced by a quiet wall of distance. You start replaying memories, don't you? The nights when she'd fall asleep with her head on your chest, phone forgotten somewhere on the couch. The mornings when she'd text you good morning before the sun even rose. The way she used to want you to be part of her digital world. Her playlists, her messages, her photos. Now you don't even know her password. And what's worse, you don't know her anymore. But here's the thing, a Stoic man doesn't invade, doesn't accuse, doesn't beg to see what's hidden. He simply observes the shift in behavior and accepts the truth it reveals. Because when a woman guards her phone like a secret, it's not about privacy, it's about detachment. The more she hides her world, the less she wants you in it. Remember, loyalty doesn't fear transparency. When someone truly loves you, they have nothing to conceal. They protect your trust, not their secrets. So if she's suddenly clutching her phone tighter, walking into another room to reply, or accusing you of being paranoid when you ask innocent questions, that's not love defending itself. That's deception getting nervous. Don't fall for the illusion. You don't need to chase clarity when her actions are already speaking. Because the truth about loyalty is simple. When you start feeling the need to ask, the answer is already there. 3. She starts comparing you to others. When her eyes would light up just talking about you, she'd tell her friends how patient you were, how safe she felt around you, how you made her laugh even when she didn't want to. But lately, that's changed, hasn't it? Now her compliments are rarer, colder, replaced by something else. A quiet kind of criticism disguised as harmless talk. She says things like, "Sarah's boyfriend surprises her all the time," or, "Why can't you be more romantic like him?" At first, you laugh it off. You tell yourself she's just teasing. But deep inside, something tightens, that uncomfortable ache that whispers, "She doesn't see me the same way anymore." And that whisper, it's usually right. Because when a woman starts comparing you to other men, what she's really doing is telling you that her admiration for you is fading. You see, admiration is the seed of female loyalty. When a woman admires a man, she's loyal to him, not just in body but in heart. But the moment that admiration dies, she begins to look elsewhere for it. You can feel it in her tone, can't you? That slight edge in her voice when she mentions another man's success, another man's ambition, another man's charm. She might not even realize it consciously, but her words start to chip away at the respect she once had for you. And here's where most men go wrong. They start competing with those comparisons. They overcompensate, trying to prove they're better. They buy gifts, chase harder, bend further, all to win back what's already been taken for granted. But that's not what a Stoic man does. A Stoic man doesn't chase comparison. He remains grounded in his own value, unmoved by someone else's opinion of him, even hers. Because the truth is, you can't force admiration. You can't beg someone to see your worth. So when she starts comparing, take it not as an insult, but as information. It's a mirror showing you that her loyalty has begun to shift. The woman who used to see your flaws as endearing now treats them as excuses. The woman who once said, "I love you for who you are," now says, "I wish you were more like him." That's not love evolving, that's love evaporating. And you know what's ironic? The men she compares you to, they don't even have what she once admired in you. She just forgot to look. Because loyalty isn't about finding perfection. It's about appreciating the person who stood by you when no one else did. So when you hear her say, "Why can't you be more like that guy?" don't respond with anger, respond with clarity. Because a woman who truly loves you never makes you feel like you have to compete to be enough. And when she starts measuring you against others, that's not your cue to fight harder for her love. That's your cue to remember your worth. Because the man who knows his value never stays where he's being compared. He walks away to where he's respected. 4, she's emotionally available to everyone except you. Have you ever been with someone who used to tell you everything? The little things, the funny stories from her day, even the things that didn't really matter. She wanted to share them with you. You were her safe place, her heart's resting point. But one day something changed. You noticed she started talking less, not because there was nothing to say, but because she stopped saying it to you. She'd spend hours on the phone with her friends, laughing and venting. She'd text endlessly, her screen lighting up while you sat beside her, pretending not to care. She'd talk about her emotions, her thoughts, her dreams, but somehow, those conversations never included you anymore. And that silence, it starts to feel heavier than words. You try to reach out. "What's wrong? You've been distant lately." She smiles, says, "I'm fine." But you can tell she isn't. It's not just that she's emotionally drained. It's that she's emotionally unavailable to you. Now here's the truth, brother. When a woman shuts you out emotionally, while opening up to others, that's not a small shift. It's a sign of something much deeper. You see, emotional availability is intimacy. It's what bonds two people beyond attraction. It's what makes a woman feel connected to a man's soul. And when she starts withholding that part of herself, it's like she's slowly unplugging from the relationship, piece by piece. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Withdraw into yourself. The rational principle which governs has its own nature, and it loves justice and self-control." In simple terms, he meant, when the world withdraws from you, stay calm, stay centered, and stay self-respecting. That's exactly what a Stoic man does when this happens. He doesn't beg for emotional attention. He doesn't plead to be heard. He simply observes. Because in her emotional distance, there's truth. Truth she might not even be ready to say out loud. You see, a loyal woman doesn't withhold emotional closeness as a weapon. Even when she's hurt, she wants to talk to you, because she still sees you as her partner. But when she begins to open her heart to everyone else except you, it means something's shifted. Her trust, her connection, her respect. And that's the painful part, isn't it? Because you remember what it felt like when you were that person for her. You remember her eyes lighting up when you walked in. You remember her laying her head on your chest and saying, "You're the only one who gets me." But now you're just there. Physically, yes. Emotionally, no. That's the moment most men start chasing. They buy gifts, they initiate deep talks, they ask again and again, "What's wrong?" But the more you chase, the more she pulls back. Not because she hates you, but because she's already found her emotional outlet elsewhere. And that's the bitter truth. When she starts giving her emotions, her laughter and her energy to everyone but you, she's already halfway out the door. So what should you do? Be still. Don't demand connection. Command self-respect. Withdraw into your center, just as Marcus Aurelius taught. Because sometimes the silence isn't rejection, it's revelation. And a man who knows his worth doesn't fight to be heard in someone's world. He walks toward peace, even if it means walking alone. 5. Her words don't match her energy. You ever been told, "I love you," but for some reason, it didn't feel the same anymore? Her lips said the words, but her eyes didn't. Her "I miss you" felt routine, almost like she said it just to fill the silence, not because she meant it. And that's when you start noticing it. That strange, uneasy gap between what she says and what she does. She tells you you're the only one she wants. Yet her actions paint a different story. She claims she loves spending time with you, but somehow she's always too busy. She says you're her peace, yet she treats you like a burden. Do you feel that? That quiet confusion in your chest when someone's words and their energy don't align? That's your intuition speaking, and most men ignore it until it's too late. Because here's the truth. Words are easy. Energy never lies. A loyal woman's actions echo her love. She shows up. She listens. She cares. Not because she has to, but because she wants to. But when her energy turns cold while her words remain sweet, she's keeping you around, not out of love, but out of comfort. Let me tell you a story. There was once a man who loved deeply. He trusted her words, even when her behavior made his heart uneasy. She'd say, "You're everything I want," but she'd avoid spending real time with him. She'd say, "I care about you," yet never ask how he was really doing. And every time he felt that distance growing, she'd pull him back in with another, "I love you." He thought that meant she still cared, but it didn't. It just meant she didn't want to lose the benefits of being loved by someone loyal. That's what Marcus Aurelius warned about when he said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Don't chase her inconsistency trying to make sense of it. Just observe it, see it clearly, and act from your truth. Because a Stoic man doesn't let words blind him to reality. He looks at what is, not what's being said. You see, a woman who's not loyal might not betray you physically. She betrays you emotionally, by giving you a version of her that no longer matches the promises she once made. It's like she's reading from an old script, trying to play a role she no longer believes in. And you, the man who still loves her, keep clinging to her words, hoping her energy will catch up again. But it doesn't. That's how men lose themselves, not because they were weak, but because they refuse to accept what their soul already knew. So ask yourself, does her energy make you feel wanted or tolerated? Does her presence bring calm or confusion? Because love shouldn't require translation. If her actions and her energy don't speak the same language as her words, that's your answer. A woman who truly loves you doesn't need to convince you with words. You feel it. And when you stop feeling it, when her voice says "I love you," but her silence says "I'm done," that's the moment to stop listening to what she says and start believing what her energy is screaming. Because a man who ignores that loses both her and himself. 6. She criticizes the man she once admired. When she used to look at you like you were her hero, when your smallest effort made her eyes light up, when she'd say things like, "I love how you stay calm under pressure," or "You make me feel so safe." You didn't have to prove anything. You didn't have to perform. Just being yourself was enough. But now, something's changed, hasn't it? Those same qualities she once admired are now the very things she criticizes. Your calmness? She calls it emotionally distant. Your focus on work? Now it's "You don't care about me anymore." Your independence? Suddenly that's selfishness. What once drew her in now seems to push her away. And the most painful part, you're still the same man, but her perception of you has shifted. You start questioning yourself. You replay arguments in your head. You wonder, did I change? Or did she? Here's the truth. Brother, when a woman starts criticizing the very traits she once fell in love with, it's not about you, it's about her changing emotional alignment. When admiration fades, criticism takes its place. And no relationship, no matter how passionate, can survive where admiration dies. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If someone is mistaken, instruct them kindly. But if you cannot, blame yourself, or none at all." In other words, when someone turns critical, don't respond with anger, respond with awareness. Because a woman who's loyal doesn't seek to tear you down. She seeks to understand you. But when she's emotionally checked out, she starts finding faults in the very man she once called her anchor. And here's the part most men don't realize. Criticism, in this stage, isn't meant to fix you. It's meant to justify her detachment. Think about it. If she can convince herself that you're no longer the man she admired, it becomes easier for her to disconnect without guilt. Every argument, every nitpick, every "you've changed," it's her mind building a case for why she's emotionally stepping away. But you know what hurts most? It's not her words. It's the realization that the woman who once saw your best now only sees your flaws. So what should you do when this happens? Don't defend. Don't argue. Don't beg her to remember who you are. Because a Stoic man knows you can't teach someone to see your worth if they've already decided to forget it. Instead, observe her behavior with calm strength. Remind yourself that your value doesn't disappear because someone stopped recognizing it. The man she once admired is still there. He just no longer fits the version of love she's choosing to see. And here's the irony. The moment you stop reacting to her criticism and return to your quiet power, she feels that strength again. Because real masculinity doesn't chase validation, it stands tall in self-respect. So when her admiration turns into criticism, understand this. She's no longer fighting you. She's fighting her own fading feelings. And your job isn't to fix her perspective. It's to stay true to your principles, the same ones that made you admirable in the first place. Because the man who remains calm when criticized, the man who keeps his integrity even when love turns cold, is the man who never truly loses. 7. She stops respecting your time. Have you ever waited for her sitting alone in your car, staring at the clock? 10 minutes, 20, 40, still no text. You tell yourself she's just busy. You try not to overthink, but deep inside there's that familiar sting. She used to care about being on time. Remember when she'd rush to meet you? When she'd text you, "I'm on my way," even if she was just 5 minutes late. Back then, your time mattered to her. But now, it feels like you're just an option in her schedule. She cancels plans last minute, shows up distracted when she does come. And when you ask, "What happened?" she shrugs, as if your time, your effort, your anticipation are just background noise in her life. You see, this isn't about lateness. It's about respect. A woman who values you respects your time because she knows your time is your life. It's your energy, your focus, your commitment. And when she starts disregarding it, that's not carelessness. That's emotional distance disguised as busyness. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to throw away. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." In other words, time is sacred. A Stoic man understands this deeply. He knows that how people treat his time reveals how they truly see his worth. So when a woman stops respecting your time, it's not a scheduling issue, it's a loyalty issue. Because when someone truly values you, they honor the spaces you create for them. Let's be honest, it hurts, doesn't it? You remember when she used to make time for you, no matter how tired she was, when she'd stay up late just to talk, when she'd listen to your dreams, your worries, your plans. But now, it feels like you're interrupting her life instead of being a part of it. You find yourself adjusting your plans around hers. You wait for her to reply. You wait for her to care again. But she doesn't, because she knows you'll still be there. And that's where many men lose their power. They keep giving their time to someone who no longer values it, hoping she'll one day remember what it used to mean. But brother, that's not love. That's neglect disguised as loyalty. A Stoic man, however, moves differently. He doesn't beg for someone's attention. He protects his time with quiet strength. He knows that a woman who loves him makes time, not excuses. So when she stops respecting your time, don't argue, don't complain, don't guilt her. Just withdraw, because your absence will say more than your words ever could. And maybe, just maybe, she'll realize the silence she created isn't peaceful at all. It's the sound of a man who finally remembered his worth. Time is the most honest mirror of love, because when someone values you, they show up. So ask yourself, does she still make time for you, or are you the only one doing the waiting? Because a woman who truly loves you will never waste what she knows she can never get back. Your time. 8. She starts testing your limits. Have you ever felt like she was pushing you on purpose, not to understand you, but to see how far she could go before you'd finally break? Maybe it started small, teasing you, saying things just to get a reaction, but slowly it grew sharper. She'd ignore your boundaries. She'd flirt in ways that made you uncomfortable. She'd say, "You're overreacting," when you calmly tried to address it. And deep down, you began to realize, this isn't about communication anymore. This is a test. Women test men for many reasons. Sometimes it's instinctive. to see if the man she's with is strong, composed and unshaken. But when she's no longer loyal, those tests take on a darker form. They're not about respect, they're about control. You start noticing how she says things just to provoke you. She'll bring up her ex or a male friend just to gauge your reaction. She'll cancel plans, then act surprised when you're disappointed. And when you finally call it out, she'll smile and say, "You're too sensitive." It's not about the situation anymore. It's about the power dynamic. See, Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. That's the Stoic truth right there. Your calmness is your weapon. Because when a woman starts testing your limits, she's trying to see if she can shake your center, if she can make you doubt your worth, if she can pull your emotions out of you and make you react. Because once you react, she feels she controls the rhythm of the relationship. But the moment you stay calm, she loses that control. Most men fail this test because they confuse silence with weakness. But Stoic silence isn't passive, it's powerful. It's the silence of a man who knows that if someone has to test his patience to feel loved, then love is already fading. Ask yourself this: when was the last time she made you feel at peace? When was the last time you felt safe in her presence instead of defensive? Because when loyalty dies, peace goes with it. What replaces it is chaos, disguised as just joking or "you're too serious." But you know what it really is. It's disrespect masked as playfulness. You don't need to match her energy. You don't need to fight to prove you're strong. The Stoic man simply observes, and when he sees that a woman has begun to test him, not to understand his strength but to undermine it, he quietly detaches. Because love isn't a battlefield where you must constantly prove your worth. Real love doesn't test your patience. It protects your peace. So when she starts pushing your boundaries just to see what you'll tolerate, don't lecture her. Don't chase, don't retaliate. Just watch. Because the more she tests, the more she reveals who she truly is. And when you remain unshaken, unmoved, she'll finally realize something powerful. You weren't the one being tested. She was, and she failed. 9. She wants space, but not distance. You've heard that line before, haven't you? "I just need some space." It hits differently when it comes from the woman you love, because it sounds calm, almost reasonable, but deep down it feels like a quiet breakup dressed in polite words. You replay the moments in your head. Everything seemed fine. A few small arguments, maybe a bit of tension, but nothing that felt like this. Then suddenly she says she needs space, so you step back, thinking that giving her room will show maturity. You stop calling as much. You stop asking questions. You give her exactly what she asked for, space. But then she starts acting strange. She still watches your stories. She texts you randomly, "Hey, how are you?" Or "Did you eat?" She doesn't want to see you, but she doesn't want you to move on either. And that's when it hits you. She doesn't want distance. She just wants control. Brother, when a woman asks for space yet keeps a thread of connection alive, it's not about reflection. It's about reassurance. She wants to know you'll still be there when she's done exploring her emotions. You become her emotional safety net, not her partner. It's confusing, isn't it? Because part of you hopes that her space will lead to clarity, that maybe she'll realize your value once she's had time to think. But here's the truth most men avoid. When she asks for space, she's already emotionally halfway gone. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." A Stoic man lives by this. He values truth over comfort. And the truth is this: when someone truly loves you, they don't need space from you. They find peace with you. So when she says she needs space, watch what she does next. If she uses that time to reconnect with herself, to grow, to return more emotionally grounded, that's healthy. But if she uses it to keep you waiting, guessing, and emotionally chained, that's manipulation in disguise. You'll notice it in the way she suddenly becomes hot and cold. She disappears for days, then sends you a message just when you start moving on. She posts subtle things online that make you wonder if she's thinking of you or someone else. and you're caught in that emotional loop, half together, half apart. But a Stoic man doesn't play that game. He knows that love either flows freely or not at all. So instead of waiting for her to decide, he decides for himself. He respects her request for space and gives her all of it. Not as punishment, but as peace. Because the man who truly values himself knows that real connection doesn't require chasing. You see, space isn't a problem when it's mutual and honest. But when it's used to control, confuse, or keep you as a backup, that's not love anymore. That's emotional possession. So when she says, "I need space," don't argue. Don't beg. Don't wait by your phone hoping she'll come back. Instead, smile gently and say, "Take all the space you need." Then mean it. Because the moment she realizes you're no longer waiting, that her space didn't break you, but freed you, she'll understand something powerful. You were never holding her back. She was holding you. And a man who's grounded in his purpose, his peace, and his truth never fears space. He becomes the one she can no longer afford to lose. That's why a Stoic man doesn't chase a fading gaze. He understands that trying to pull back love that's already left the heart only leads to pain. Instead, he remains calm. He observes without trying to control. He remembers that energy doesn't lie, and when it shifts, it's a sign to step back and protect his own peace. Because when a woman's gaze changes, she's no longer communicating love, she's communicating distance. And the worst mistake a man can make is trying to reignite what's already emotionally extinguished. So don't ignore that shift. Don't explain it away as stress or mood swings. When her energy changes and the light in her eyes fades, it's not an illusion, it's truth showing itself before words ever do. And maybe that's the universe's way of whispering, you can't force what's no longer flowing toward you. So instead of chasing her eyes, return to your own. Find that calm, steady reflection again. Because while her energy may have changed, your peace doesn't have to. The Stoic truth about loyalty. Marcus Aurelius once taught that peace comes not from controlling others, but from mastering your own mind. When you discover disloyalty, the pain is real. But so is the opportunity for growth. Because betrayal doesn't destroy a strong man, it reveals one. A disloyal woman teaches you to value silence over drama, to value solitude over chaos, to value peace over attachment. You can't stop her from changing, but you can stop yourself from begging. And once you stop chasing loyalty outside of you, you begin to find it within. That's when no one can betray you again, because your peace no longer depends on anyone else's presence. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.